Hello, everyone. My name is City, and I am the Healthy Relationships Coordinator of WISE. And today, I will be sharing with you all our 7-day healthy relationship / sexual violence prevention program that we have created for one of our girls' program in WISE. And so these 7-part workshops will be a way for us to guide you through going about these workshops. And so we'll break it down PowerPoint by PowerPoint. And so the first workshop is about our emotions in healthy relationships. And think about it, there is 7 workshops. So the first few workshops are more about healthy relationships, about how to express how you feel, how to name how you feel, and just really learn how to understand your own emotions. And when you are put into specific or certain situations, then you'll know what feelings will come, know what feelings you're feeling, and know what feelings can be linked to a good situation and a bad situation. And so it's really just a way to break the ice first. And so with these workshops, we have geared it towards middle schoolers and high schoolers, but for sure, with just a few changing of the wording, with changing of the situations, it can definitely be applied to different age groups as well as college as well. So let's start on the first workshop. And so the first workshop is our emotions and healthy relationships. And the 3 objectives for this workshop, this first workshop, is to help the participants understand and tie emotions to various situations, understand what emotions they should be feeling when in a healthy and positive relationship, and understand and accept that there will be negative emotions felt even in a healthy and positive relationship, but understand the fine balance of negative and positive emotions and where each should fall, and how often it should be felt in a relationship. And so as I carry on through these workshops, I will present these workshops as if I am presenting to the participants, but I will stop myself at certain points to give some tips and some guidance on how you can go about it. And so I'll definitely give a clear sign on when I am stopping as a presenter mode to our uh, our pretend audience, and then I can also talk about some things as well. All right. And another thing that I want to add about these workshops is that we have also added in a pre-survey and a post-survey as well. So what we are really curious about is we basically put out a 3 to 4 question survey, and it's the same survey, but we want to have the participants take it before they do the workshop, and the same survey after the workshop. And so we've set up some Google Forms to have a few questions there. And if you are interested, WISE can definitely share the questions that we use for our surveys, just for us, our own personal tracking of what the girls know already or what they don't know. And then what they learn from the workshop and how their answers change. And oh my gosh, I would love to introduce what WISE is and what we stand for. We are the Women's Initiative for Self-Empowerment, and we are an organization that helps immigrant and refugee girls and women or female identifying individuals with any type of self-work, whether it's helping them through college, helping them with homework, helping them with self-development, anything. It's really an organization to be of support to immigrant and refugee girls and women in any way possible. And so we thought that it would be really, really beneficial to them if we started a healthy relationship / sexual violence prevention program to help them gain more awareness of what this issue is, any information that they can get from it, and really to expand their awareness on it. But I do believe that these workshops are applicable to any girl and woman as well. And so it is really a way for everyone to learn. So, all right, let's go on to the next thing. I will jump into the workshop now. So the one important thing as I stop here is really to build a rapport with your participants. You're going to be doing 7 workshops with them, which are 1 hour each. So you'll be spending a max of 7 hours, but 7 days with them. So make sure you just introduce yourself. Tell a little bit about who you are. I mean, if you want to talk about your background and what your role is and how you see yourself. And so, hello everyone. My name is City. I am the Healthy Relationships Coordinator for WISE, which is the Women's Initiative for Self-Empowerment. And I also consider myself an artist, an advocate, a connector, and a healer. And so when you talk about some things that you like, it really just helps the participants connect with you and find out who you are more. And so it can build more of that relationship. And I also just add some personal touches, which is stuff I love, which I love my grandma and my nephew. They're the cutest. This is my family. I have a very big family and I have a lot of nieces and nephews and I adore them. And this is me. I love performing. I love doing spoken word and doing music. So it's very important to me when I perform, and I just find a lot of empowerment when I do that. And I love traveling. This is a picture of me going to China and studying abroad back in college. And I did a little fun dance on the Great Wall of China. It was just a really fun and cool thing for me to experience at that time. And yeah, so basically just adding some basic personal touches to the workshop for yourself to build a rapport with them. And so the next part that I want to highlight as well is we definitely need to have some strong values and what you can call community agreements. I don't really like to use the word rules because that just sounds very strong. So I would consider saying guidelines or values. So it is very important to have this slide on every workshop and for you to remind the participants what the guidelines and values that we all will stand by when we are doing these workshops, just so they are aware and they have an awareness of what to expect when they are part of these workshops. So some examples, the ones that I have used for my workshop is respecting each other's point of view, even if it's different from yours. Let's listen to one another when they are sharing. Let's build each other up. We are all in this together. Let's learn something new. This is a safe, I would even add brave and open space. What is said here stays here. And you can really mix this up for the audience that you think that you'll have. You don't have to go with this set, but if you want to, feel free to go ahead. And another good thing to note is you can ask the participants, are there any other values that you would like to add? And if they do add, feel free to add it right there, but make sure that you revise it for all 7 workshops so it is included for all 7. And just also ask them or comment that if there's any other values that come up, just feel free to let you know. How I've carried these workshops, a little side note, is I've only initially carried these workshops out on Zoom, and it could definitely go very differently if you do it in person. I think that you'll probably be doing the same thing, but just the way that you interact with the participants could be a little bit different, because on Zoom, they can either raise their hand, they can either write it in the chat, they can unmute themselves and speak. But I think that it definitely is still pretty pretty easy to flow from doing it on Zoom versus doing it in person. That you'll know the instinct to do something that matches how you are presenting it, whether in person or on Zoom. And meditation. All right, so for these workshops, I've added a short 2 to 3 minute meditation for every workshop in the beginning, just to really ground everyone and really introduce the participants to meditation if they have never, been exposed to meditation, have never thought about meditating. It's really just a little sprinkle to them, for them to be a little bit exposed to different ways of grounding yourself, different ways to be calm, be at peace. And I don't think meditation is a thing that is really promoted in the mainstream. About some, it's really hard to meditate sometimes, and so I think that it would be really great to expose the girls to meditation. And so there is this app on your phone that you can download called Stop Breathe Think, and it's super cool. So please do download this and have the girls do this. And how the app will go is it would ask you different emotions that you're feeling. How is your body feeling? So you can just do how you feel. And what I would do is after they calculate all of the emotions that you're feeling, how your body is feeling, they usually bring up a few meditations that you can do, whether they're like 5, 7. But I try to get to the meditation that is around 2 to 3 minutes. And so that would be a very good one to do with the participants every time during the workshop. So just make sure you have that ready every time you start the workshop. And what I usually do is I would just play it on my phone, because my phone is pretty loud enough already. And then we would just do a meditation together for 2 to 3 minutes. And then after doing this 2 to 3 minute, after this guided meditation, I would ask them every time, how do you feel after the meditation? And usually the girls that I have done it with, I would just ask them to write it in the chat. They would just tell me the emotions that they're feeling at the moment: calm, peaceful. And it's a really cool thing. And so for the first workshop, you don't need to do the meditation yet, but you can just introduce that we will be doing the meditation, carrying on forward on the next workshops. And so it's just good to introduce it to them. Even though I said let's do a meditation together, but you don't have to. You don't have to. It's just a good way to introduce. And now we can go into the names, asking every participant their names, their pronouns, and a little icebreaker question: who is your favorite person and why? Yes, so this is really our icebreaker for today, for this workshop. And so, yeah, I think that it depends on the group that you have. I think if I did it on Zoom, if there's a lot of people, I would just have people write it in the chat, have everyone write it, and I can just read it out. If there's only a few people, maybe 4, 5, 6 people, I usually just allow everyone to go unmute themselves and go one by one. If you're doing it in person, I would think that you would go, one by one. Even if there's a lot of people, I think it's good to just build a rapport with people. Yes, and I even have this specified to Zoom because that's how we have been having to do it. So either raise your hand or write in the chat. And then you also introduce your own favorite being, which I put as my dog. And so just to, again, build that personable and likable touch to yourself. And so going into the workshop, understanding our own emotions. That is the workshop for today. First thing, we are emotional beings, and it's really okay to feel things. I know that sometimes we as human beings, we try to repress how we feel, we try to run away from our feelings, but we have to remember that we are emotional beings, that it's okay to get angry, sad, and disappointed, and it's okay to express it in a healthy way. It can be hard to express some emotions and easy to express some other emotions. And let's take some examples. For example, there could be a person who is really good at expressing love and affection, but then it might be so hard for them to express their pain and their sadness and their anger, right? But there could be someone who is so easy to express pain and anger and rage, but it might be super hard for them to express love and affection. It's really depending on the person, maybe the way that their parents have raised them, right? And how they have learned to deal with their emotions and how to express themselves. And what we want to do with this workshop is we want to become aware of the kinds of emotional experience we are having, the kinds of emotional experience we are having in different situations throughout the day, our daily lives, the different emotional experiences we have depending on the people that we talk to, whether it's our teachers, whether it's our friends, our parents, our brothers, sisters. And a really cool statement that can help you if you really, it's really hard for you to express how you feel in a healthy way. This is a really good way to address everything that you need to address when you are feeling a very uncomfortable feeling. So let's take for an example here. Let's take for an example that a friend of yours, a really close friend of yours, spread a rumor about you and you feel some type of way about it. And so in applying this statement, if you are talking to your friend or even just to yourself or to another person when you're feeling down, but I think that this statement is really a good way for you to healthily tell the person that the person that has done the action to you. So if you are talking to the friend that betrayed you or the friend that spread rumors about you, right, you can say, because you spreaded rumors behind my back, I feel super betrayed. And my next action is I don't really want to talk to you right now. And sometimes that can be really hard for someone to say, but it's how you're feeling and it's a valid reason to feel that way. And it's okay to have space for yourself and not want to talk to the person that hurt you. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. And so that's kind of the way that I would go about this slide. And if you have any other little comments, feel free to add more to that. It's really your way of personalizing, really using your own insight and knowledge to give and to add more input to these short sentences. And so if you did it just the way that I did, that's totally fine as well. Let's go to the next one. And so this slide is really just to introduce feeling cards. These are some of the general feelings that we would feel depending on the different experiences and situations we experience throughout the day or throughout our life. And so it's just here for us to use as a reference. And so we are going into situations right now, different situations. First thing reads, in your friendships, your family, your teacher, student, and boy or girlfriend relationships, these may be some feelings you may experience throughout the day. So I'm gonna stop right there. And so if you are working with someone, a group that's older, maybe college, and I've also worked with some interns who were older, who are in college versus high school, middle school, I would, just switch in the words from teacher to professor student, and then boy girlfriend relationships, and that's totally fine. But if they are in college, I would just switch it to professor, and whatever relationship type works for your group, that your age group that you're working with. And so this is the first situation. And for these situations, you as the facilitator have to read it and then ask the participants what kinds of emotions would they be feeling. And so for this particular first situation, you can definitely go back and use that statement that we used earlier to express how they would feel and how they would express how they would feel to their friend who stood them up. And so let's go into it. So this is how I would say it. Your friend and you plan to go to the movies this weekend, but an hour before you were both supposed to meet up, she texts you and says she can't go anymore. So how would you feel if your friend did that to you? And so maybe some of the participants would say, oh, I'd be disappointed, I would be mad, sad, etc., etc. And then I would go ahead and ask, okay, so how would you approach talking to your friend in a healthy way using the statement that we had earlier? So this statement. And then after I say that, I would give the participants a chance to unmute themselves or raise their hand to share how they would go about it. And so going to the next one, you woke up late this morning and you ran all the way to the bus. When you got to school, your friend tells you you're wearing 2 different shoes. How would you feel? And then the participants would just list how they felt, and then whatever they said, I would just be like, yep, that's correct, that's true, just giving them some sort of encouraging feedback, or minimal just giving them some few words to validate how they're feeling. And then third situation, your teacher rewarded you with extra credit for being the first person to turn in their paper. How would you feel? Then, they could probably say happy, excited, confident, etc., etc. And so that's really basically it for the 3 situations. And as you can see, the 3 situations are really 3 different feelings. The first one is more of an uncomfortable negative feeling, right? And so they learn to link their uncomfortable and negative emotions with a uncomfortable situation or a hurtful situation. And the second one is more of like an embarrassed, more of a they feel maybe could feel shameful, or just that kind of feeling. And then the third one is a really good feeling. So applying their good feelings to a really good situation so they know how it feels, what the feeling is in their body when something is good, and then what they feel when situations are bad. And so they can link that. So this is a really good way for us as the facilitators to bring into their awareness, because we really want to link this later on when they are put into confusing situations, whether they are with a boyfriend, someone they like, a partner, other people that may try to take advantage of them or may try to sexually assault them, and what are the emotions that they are feeling at the moment, and for them to trust that feeling, and for them to be able to, if they can, take themselves out of that situation, or find help that if they can. But if they can't do that either, but just know what that feeling is, and that that's not how they should be feeling, and that is not something that should have happened to them, right? And we really want to put that into their awareness, that the bad feeling, even if the situation is very confusing. So let's watch this video, and this next video we are going to watch it, and then we will be discussing it with our participants. So let's take a watch. Oh, I apologize. I paused the recording a little bit, but I also think that this is a really good teaching lesson. So apparently, sometimes when the video is embedded into the PowerPoint, it does not work for some reason the second time that you present. For me, I've experienced that. So what I have done in the PowerPoints is I have embedded the YouTube video that I that has been embedded in there. I put in the notes, so if ever it doesn't work, just re-embed it in there. So just insert video, online movie, and then copy it. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't want to work now. So I would just copy and paste that. And this is something that definitely you should check out before you present. Just put it in the URL. Okay. And then for some reason, it works when you copy the URL here. So this is more of a technical thing when it comes to workshops, but it's also something very valuable to do as well. So put it in the browser and you would insert it. Yes, for some reason, I don't know why it does that. So if you do encounter that problem, which you most likely will, just reinsert the video. But again, this should happen before the workshop starts. All right. Let's get to that video. Current slide. And let's take a look at this video, okay? Take away from the video. And so the important thing to note here as the facilitator is what you want them to get away from it, what to take away from it is allow them to express how they felt, express their inputs and its insights that they got from the video, and make sure if the points that they discussed were the ones that we're trying to get across, really praise them for it. So the answers or the insights and inputs that we really want them to take away from it is really to know that it's okay to express your uncomfortable emotions, sadness, anger, pain, and that it's not good for you to hide those things. And it's really important for you to learn and know how to express it, right? And it really depends on the group that you have. If I talk to, when I was speaking to the interns who are of immigrant and refugee background, I can, say something along the lines of, and a lot of times when we come from an immigrant and refugee background, we sometimes aren't taught to express our feelings. Sometimes that's not something that we do in our household, but I want you all to learn to express yourselves. I want you to learn how to be okay with certain feelings that you feel, because a lot of times it was not expressed in the family to really own our feelings and learn how to process and let it go. Because sometimes coming from an immigrant refugee family, there is a lot of trauma there with parents and grandparents there, so they themselves also do not know how to process and let go of traumatic moments and experiences that they've had. And when they have children, which is us, they don't really know how to teach us how to let go of emotions and bad emotions and traumatic experiences as well. So again, it really just depends on who you talk to, or what group you're talking to, what age group, and really putting in your own insight to give to the participants. But the main point really is having the participants know that it is okay to express yourself, and it is not good for you and your mental well-being to really hide or repress uncomfortable emotions and just trying to be happy all the time. Because again, as human beings, we are emotional beings. We feel a lot of things, and it is our responsibility to figure out how to express everything in a very healthy way. And in healthy and positive relationships, sometimes you will have bad feelings too, but it should never be the main feeling you experience throughout the relationship. The people you care about and your emotions may go up and down, because it really depends if they're having stressful times. For example, maybe they are having a big test or exam that they're having to do and they are studying so much for it. Maybe their family is going through financial problems, parents are going through a divorce, etc., etc. It could be with body hormone changes. If you're a woman or a girl, you have your period, and that really does sometimes can impact how you feel that day or that week, and the emotions that you feel may go up and down. Irritability may increase, or someone passes away and there is a lot of different emotions that you feel there: denial, grieving, sadness, anger. So just knowing that, to note that in a healthy and positive relationship, that there will be good, really good feelings, but sometimes there could be bad feelings too, and it's all about how you work it out with the person that you care about, the person that you have a relationship with. Know that it is, most of the time it should be very positive, a very happy relationship, and that's how it should be. But also note that there are going to be times when each person, whether it's you or whether it's the person you're in a relationship with, are going through tough times. That, you know, it could be a tough moment in your relationship. But again, it is all about how you express yourself to the person and how you both go about getting through this situation together. And if emotions are hard to process, there are a few ways that you can go about it. It is never a bad thing to seek help from a clinic or get some therapy. I think that that's something that's super important to note, that it is not bad at all. Therapists are there to help any individual, any person who's going through any life situation. It doesn't have to be just something super traumatic. It could be just you having to deal with certain emotions and stress with school, with your if your parents divorce. You know, there's just, it's so broad. And really, if you just need someone to talk to, therapists are there to help. If that's not an option that you are not ready for yet, or are a little bit hesitant to do, talking to a friend or a trusted adult, and just allowing someone to listen to you and help you with any advice if you need it. But just know that people are there for you, and that you are not alone in the emotions that you're feeling. There is a lot of help, but you also have to reach out for help if you need it. Yeah, so I'll stop right there. So yes, so really this part is really to just really encourage them to understand a positive relationship and the hurdles that they might have to go through. And if they feel that it's hard for them to express emotions, or they feel, you know, maybe unbalanced or not sure why they're angry, you know, there's some options there for them. And to just always let them know that they are not alone in things that they are feeling, that they can have help and they can have people there to support them. And the last thing is, we are going to be doing some fun work. So just for the next 7 times that we'll be meeting for the last workshop, we are going to do an activity where we are going to take 5 photos of yourself in different times and events in your life. And we are going to write a little piece about it. It's not going to be anything big, but maybe like a paragraph, a few sentences on each photograph. And make sure that the last photo that you have is a current photo of yourself. So you can choose photos from all ranges of your life, whatever is important for you, whatever impacted you. It could be a negative event that helps shape who you are. It could be a very positive event. So it's really about what you're comfortable with sharing, what you are comfortable with writing about and comfortable to face. But it's really up to you. We would love to see what events have shaped you to who you are, or, you know, events and experiences. And so again, I'll stop there. So really this is really just a reminder, but we're going to be doing this towards the end of the workshops, the 7th workshop. What I have done in the past is just, yes, always reminding them and letting them know that this is something that we'll be doing later on. So keeping that in mind. And so that is really the end of the first workshop. As I am talking through it, it might sound a lot, but actually when you are going through the workshop, it breezes through pretty fast. This is a really good starting point for them to just really learn to note their emotions, and bringing that forward into the healthy relationship workshops that we're going to be doing, the next few ones, and then the sexual assault awareness and sexual violence awareness workshops that we will be doing later on. And so this is the end of the first one. And so thank you all for tuning in and listening to this first one, and I will see you in the second one.